Hello, everyone, and welcome to Got Thrones, a Game of Thrones podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Kolasinski, and with me, as ever, is my fabulous co-host, Alexandra August.
Hello, everyone, and we are so excited to talk about this episode. Johnny, what was the title of this episode?
The title of this one was, much like one of my favorite Prince songs, Seven. This is Season 1, Episode 4 of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Aired on Friday rather than Sunday because of the commercial football game that I don't know that we are legally allowed to mention.
The Bad Bunny concert?
Yeah, the Bad Bunny So yeah, this is just what we are calling our hot takes or got takes, where we're just going to do a quick, hey, this was our impression of the episode, this is what we really liked, and then we will do our regular deep dive. Normally comes out midweek. Maybe we'll see if we can schedule something earlier, given that the episode released earlier. Maybe not. I don't know. Life is a mystery. But yeah, this is a pretty easy episode to recap we were talking about because it was really linear. It was just a things happened. So
I would like to talk about the things that happened that were particularly exciting. So I have this like 60-second
go for it.
Excitement. First off, egg in the cell. Egg is so sweet. Oh my God. Like when he's like, there are 4 eggs. And he's so sad, and Dunk is just like, you dry up your tears. You knew you were doing, like, he's such a good, like, big brother parent. Like, I remember being Egg and being that sad when my parents were like, we are not mad, we are disappointed. And then oh my gosh, Baylor. He's just such a good ruler. He's a good politician. Like, I hate that he's besieged by these dumb family members, though I swear to God, Maekar's facial expressions, like, he might be the funniest Targaryen that I've ever met. However, unintentionally. The funniest person I've ever met is Lionel Baratheon, who asked, "Who is Sir Stevron?" and reminded us all why he's still here. And it's just entirely for vibes.
That was almost perfectly timed. Okay, you want to put one up for me?
Thank you. I feel good to have processed that excitement. All right, go.
Okay, so one of the things that I liked most about this episode, and I'm sure we will talk about it more, was I was so excited about the way the season has been light and given us a lot of breathing room, and it wasn't serious, dour Game of Thrones where we must always have conflict all the time and nothing is good and everything is awful. And this episode was serious, dour Game of Thrones where nothing is good and everything is awful, but it earned it with the first 3 episodes. Everything was so impactful that because of the journey that we've gone on over the past 4 weeks, like this is, in my opinion, almost a perfect episode of television because of how we got here. And also watch The Muppets.
Oh, and made it just under a minute. So that is a law, everyone. You do have to watch The Muppets. So it is written, so it shall be done. Before we get into our recap, I just want to again shout out how beautifully structured this season of television has been, or this story has been. And every moment is earned, and all of these developments happen because we have organically invested in these people, and that's just not an easy job to do. It's not an easy job to do on a show that is going to be as widely perceived as this one, especially in a time in media where there are so many interests on so many stakeholders on every major IP, and this being one of the most major IPs at a huge like, it's just really, I'm very grateful for whoever at HBO and for allowed them to make a show this specific in just the way they wanted to, because it's really working.
Not just a major IP, but a major IP that got a lot of criticism for how the last season of Thrones was handled. I really and truly think that they gave Ira Parker a lot of rope to tell the story this way.
I think like this feels a little bit like Slow Horses, and I think somebody else made that comp before I did, but just in terms of like beautiful story, compact, perfectly packaged in just enough paper to make it land, to make it really stick that landing, and to spirit the Olympics.
That's a show that I need to watch because as far as non-genre television,
Oh, I thought you meant
like
the
it is
Olympics.
perfectly. Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so you should watch
I
both
heard this season's really good.
so far.
I
Mariah
mean,
Carey's
they've got
amazing.
they've got a villain in JD Vance. It's great. No, Slow Horses is as far as non-genre television goes because again, most of what I watch is sci-fi or fantasy because I am a nerd. But Slow Horses is right up my alley.
It's right up, I recommend anybody who hasn't seen it, it's probably right up your alley as well. But because we are, in fact, a sci-fi fantasy series discussing a sci-fi fantasy show, let's do what we're gonna do kind of moving forward for these quicker episodes, which is just recap the episode in kind of a truncated version, so we can all share our excitement a little bit before we get into
Yeah,
really the nitty-gritty in a few days. As I mentioned last week, this is my
you love
favorite
that.
scene. We opened with my favorite scene. It's my favorite scene in the books because Egg is so precious and it is so well written. I credit George and the showrunners for executing a really authentic small child experience. We don't get Egg's point of view in the books. I feel like we've gotten it in the show. And watching him, he and Dunk, he comes into Dunk's cell and he brings him food and Dunk is just like, "What?" This is like Dunk has like met the real world and the real world was not pleased, and it's just not, he's having a horrible day. And then this little dude comes in who's like really just kind of rung his bell and he's all dressed real nice and he's bringing food and he's so sorry. And Dunk is a very good parental figure in this case and doesn't really give him an inch and makes sure that he feels, to the extent that he can, the danger that he's put him in. And then it's time for them to go and see Egg's uncle. And
Yeah,
so they go and they have another one of my favorite scenes in the books, which is the conversation, the very person to person, man to man conversation between Prince Baelor, heir to the Iron Throne, and the lowliest of hedge knights, who's actually taller than him, talking. And they truly do speak person to person. And that's when Baylor introduces the concept of the trial by seven, and he does so kind of by carefully laying out Dunk's options. And then we know kind of inside that what Baylor's job is to not just protect the innocent as well, because he's a knight ultimately, but also to keep peace in his realm and not rob his family of power, which would ultimately happen, I think, if he was just like, no, fuck Arian, he was wrong, and then just complete, like, he has a lot of elements that he's balancing, and ultimately he comes to the one that I think is the most pragmatic, but also gives Dunk the best chance of getting through this episode, for lack of a better word,
yeah,
more or less intact.
yeah. He proposes just trial by combat, which is every knight's right. And then when they take it to the bigger council, the rest of the Targs, uh, Arion says, or what about a trial by seven, which Dunk has never heard of because it's not happened in 600 years. And
It's
later
some
there's
and all
a little
bullshit.
it's some and all bullshit. And later there's a conversation, I think with Baylor and Arion, don't quote me on that, of you just did this because you're a coward and it's your way to not have to face Dunk one on one.
Most valuable Makar's been the entire season.
Oh, it was Makar, you're right. Yeah, it was called him to task. Um, so Dunk then needs to find himself six buddies. Uh, so goes to one of his two buddies, Robin Fossaway, and they come up with a plan. And Stefan, to his credit, says, "I'll get the gang together and we'll go up against these guys."
I was convinced.
I was
Yeah,
convinced. I was like, I didn't think we were going to get the betrayal this episode.
this episode covered an astonishing amount of ground, and like I
Yes.
didn't think we
Yeah.
were good. I thought we would end with like this sort of conversation with Baylor, more or
Yes.
less. Sorry, but I
Yeah.
just, yeah.
Yeah. It makes me really interested with what the last episode is going to be because obviously next week is going to be the
Yeah.
throwdown.
Yeah.
But Dunk leaves that conversation in a good spot. I also feel like they truncated the timeline a little bit, and I don't feel like it was a okay, we had this conversation on Sunday, and Monday morning is when the combat's going to be.
I think you're right.
I
I
think there
think
was a
there were
little more gathering of the troops
I th-
time.
yeah, I think everything took a little bit longer. He does see Tansel, like, doesn't he see Tansel again? Or do they leave?
Yeah, I think so, and I think they do,
Um,
and I like that she didn't actually leave,
yeah,
that she
I
was there in the audience.
oh she did. Oh, I totally missed that.
Yeah,
Oh, whoops, I'm a
yeah.
bad fan. You know what
Um,
else we missed? Barbara, the fortune teller, is also the innkeeper lady, and now I want to meet her.
what?
Yeah,
Oh my goodness!
I well,
Like let's put a pin on that because that is a deep dive thing that I want to
Barbara's got a
spend some
secret
time with.
life.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, and I loved the way that this was the fact that they chose a gray and gloomy day for this
Oh, yeah.
was oh
Because I feel like it's
perfect.
Dunk's mood. I loved, like, briefly before we get to that, I want to make sure that we cover Daeron being
Oh
just,
yes,
oh
yeah,
my God, another Targaryen that Dunk is like, fuck you guys.
yeah,
His fucks have left the building. He is so annoyed. We got like his little rain sequence when he leaves the castle and he's like, I have to get 7 nights because you're a bitch. Like, it's
yeah,
none of the rules that he was brought up with are panning out for him and it's all shitty and all of his idols are shitty and then he gets to this tent and like another one shows up and he's the one who falsely identified him but ultimately he has a good heart and Egg comes with him and Egg's like, I'm being your squire, and Darren is like, uh-huh, I'm hungover, I will just
yeah,
lie down. You can just, and like throws a fight the way you're supposed to throw a fight, which is by losing.
right.
And so Dunk is just kind of like, fine, whatever. And that's when he leaves and he goes and sees Steely Pate and he gets his shield. Which this was the only moment in the episode, his conversation with Steely Pate, that I was like, this feels a little Disney-fied.
Yeah, yeah, Disney fight is a great way to put it.
Didn't hate it, but I was like, I'll allow it. But then it's the morning of the tourney and it is gray, and which is just better lighting for Lionel Baratheon.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any complaints.
I loved the bringing together of the troops. I loved that I always forget the name of Broken Leg, Humphrey Harding.
Yeah.
Um, given that we've not seen him much, I loved that he was the first one to speak and was like, "I'm going to be as good as anybody as long as I stay on this horse." I
Yeah.
loved
I loved is her Robin Death Metal Riesling, who was like,
with
"Yeah,
I need
I'm
a
what
chainmail eye patch like that.
yes you do." God,
Like I I want
everyone.
to dress like Lionel. I should dress like Robin.
I love how also you can spot a Beesbury from a mile away. There is never any doubt when there's a Beesbury in House of the Dragon. Did you not know who that man was the minute the camera panned to him? And then Lionel's just a good. And then Lionel asks who the fuck Sir Stevron is, and the
Yeah,
betrayal becomes clear.
yeah.
And
So
then
so Stevron betrays, and we get honestly, I the entire season was working up to are there no true knights in Westeros? And I could do an entire episode on that 2.5 minutes.
and if you didn't get goosebumps during that, and then again when Baylor rides out.
Yeah,
And like just the way the pieces clicked into place and the way the balance clicked into place. And it like I don't know if this is something that as a younger person I would have had an appreciation for, but as an older person and just sort of like a little bit more at peace with the way things are rarely black and white, this really felt like a beautiful synergy of people trying to do the right thing. Or at least enough people trying to do the right thing that we got a chance. It was like a sports movie. I felt like the way I felt at the end of Miracle.
it
I don't
was. Yeah,
know.
like there should have been like it, there could have been a slow clap.
Oh, oh, and that's it for our hot takes. We liked it. It
Yeah,
was really good.
I loved it. I have so much more to say, and this is not the episode for it.
Oh, we have an embarrassment of riches, and that's what we like.
Yeah.
Thank you folks so much. We will see you again in midweek and hope you, if you partake in the superb owl tomorrow, may your side have the best of luck
Hmm.
and enjoy the concert.
Bye, folks.